Hello friends, welcome back to my studio. I hope you're well. There's been a lot going on in the studio. My daughter has finished setting up her space and it's looking really lovely. She's done a great job, and she ended up buying a desk from IKEA to match my drawers that I bought, and gee, those drawers have been absolutely fantastic. I think I need another set because they're completely full. Managed to fill them. I've been doing a little more on my oracle cards or affirmation cards, and some of the ones I was working on, I was trying to go quite abstract, and that's the ones that I showed you in a vlog a few ago. And they're a bit of a mess and I'm not really happy with them at all. And then I just kept going through the pack, and I started to pick up more on a floral motif, and I think they've really started to improve, and I think I've really hit my stride with them. And so it's great. So rather than abandoning the project completely, I think this floral, they'll be more of a floral deck. So I've been working on those. The other thing I've been working on is developing another colour palette. And this is what I mean by copying other artists, what it can give you. So I created this colour palette following or as bouncing off Georgia O'Keeffe's colour palette of some of her landscape paintings. And from there, I realised just how much I was loving the pastels and the earthy colours. And so I've developed this colour palette here, this new palette that is full of, of really just loving these softer colours. I've always wanted my work to soften, and we'll put it in shot. So this is what I've been working on, and it's got the new Titan Mars and Titan Violet pales that I introduced last week. Some of these Venetian reds that I've been working with for a long time, a lovely earthy, I've spoken a lot about this, lovely earthy colour that you can really tint down, but it still gives you a nice grounded colour. And yeah, my favourite, that blue gum with the unbleached titanium, some lovely greens. That's got the skin tone light in it. And so that's where your colour palette, you can see here I've got a 1, and that refers to this colour, which I mixed up in a previous colour palette. And then from that colour, I've then added other colours to that. So I've got this really complex colour, a colour that doesn't come out of the tube, a colour that can be unique to yourself, and a nice complex colour that just adds so much more to your paintings. And these two have got a 10, which is this colour here. It's quite a deep skin colour. Looks a bit darker dried on the card. And then look at these delicate, beautiful pastels that I can get from this colour just by adding, this has just got a load of titanium white in it, and this has got a little bit of yellow mid-azo added into the mix as well. And yeah, I'm absolutely loving them. So here's a bit of footage of me mixing up the colours. I tell you, there is nothing yummier than glooping around in a big puddle of paint. It's lovely and thick, like soft ice cream, like a Dairy Whip or something. And it's just so much fun. And when I'm first developing the colours, I'm not using as much paint, of course, and I just make little notes as to what's in the colour. But once I start mixing up a really big batch, and this is this Titan Mars Pale with a Titan White, I can start to get a sense of the quantities. So when I go to mix this colour again, I've got a much better idea. You know, you can really start to fine tune it the more you mix it up. The other great way, and I played around a bit with that this week again, is using magazines, and Pinterest is a great resource for colour palettes, and often interiors have colour palettes related to them, and these are based on Annie Sloan's colours, the chalk paint. You'll know Annie Sloan's name from chalk paint, and this is a colour palette that she has suggested, and from this image of painting furniture and walls. And it's a really great way. I haven't swatched these up or painted in these colours yet, but I just wanted to show you, if you're a bit lost as to what colour palette, have a look at interiors, and they are a great jumping off point for developing a colour palette. I think that would make a really lovely painting. You've got tonally quite a variance, and yet all the colours go really well together, particularly for a landscape. That could be really, really lovely. Once you have all your colours decided on, as you know, I do these great big swatches of them, because when I'm going to mix up the colour again, it helps me to see, as I've been mixing it, I've been dabbing a bit on to get the colour. Of course, you need to wait till it dries to get the full sense, but that it helps me see and mix the colour well again when I've really only got these very brief notes, that I know it's some of this mix, which is these colours plus titanium white plus the yellow mid azo, but I haven't got proper quantities there, because of course it varies depending on how much you're mixing up. If I'm mixing up a little pot like this, or if I'm mixing up a great big pot worth like this. And this is how much I ended up mixing up. To get the colour right, I ended up needing a lot of white in there, so I've ended up with a big tub full, but I tell you, this is so delicious. I could eat it. It is such a beautiful colour. So yeah, that's it there. And I swatched the top of that too with the notes on it, so it helps me. So once you have these and they're looking like they go together, a great idea is to just swatch them all up randomly on a page. And that's what I've done. I'll show you that in a moment. And then I move into just sketching up a couple of landscapes with them, just to have a play and see how they go. And I'll show you all of that now. So here, this was in my great big sketchbook, which I love. And this is the one that I had showed you last week that I'd painted on the Sandy Hester mix that she preps her pages with. It did stick a little bit because I tried to not go to the very edge, but the pages did stick a bit. My other book did rip a little bit, but if I'm a bit more careful, that will work. The paint, or the page, took the paint really, really well, and it gave me a bit of a drier surface, so the paint didn't soak into the page so much. So yeah, I recommend Sandy's recipe there. I'm just loving the pastels and the gentleness of that there. And then the other one, I had a paper left that I'd forgotten about when I was doing this series of landscapes on paper. I'd stretched these up onto board, and I had one that I missed. So that's what this one was a leftover board. So I just went over the first couple of layers with this one. It's just a sketch, but I'm really happy with where this is going to take me. So I've said it before, and it can be a bit controversial, but it is important to copy other artists, not directly and then you present that work as your own, but to help develop your skills and the colors that you like. It can give you something to go on with perhaps while you're still developing your creative flow and finding ideas. Copy away, copy me if you like, because you can really grow into then the artist that you are going to be and deserve to be, and that's a great thing. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you being here. I hope you have a lovely week, and I'll see you next week. Bye.